right there, Latin 1. Here we are, review 5D, Rome's fiercest enemy. Now, I strongly recommend that you go through and you do 5E first because it helps you to just decode the tenses that are being used here. I also strongly recommend you do 5C because it's really good at just kind of, unplugging some of those blockages. And 5B and 5A are also good to review what we did in the last couple chapters. But here we are, review 5D, Rome's fiercest enemy. When Hannibal was a boy of 9 years, now noem is technically a genitive because we don't decline our numbers. The father of him, by name Hamilcar, who was named Hamilcar, was preparing to sail to Spain with many soldiers. Many years before, the Romans had defeated Hamilcar in war, and they had seized the islands Sicily and Sardinia from the Carthaginians. Now, Hamilcar was having in mind to cross over to Spain and to found a new empire there. Now, Carthage was a way more powerful place than Rome, but it had one fatal flaw. It hired all of its soldiers. They weren't citizen soldiers. They were mercenaries. And when you don't pay your mercenaries, they leave. He was not wanting to stay in Africa, Hannibal was not wanting to stay in Africa. Hannibal the boy was not wanting to stay in Africa. And so he approached to his father. Notice that that's a dative again. "Father, father," shouted Hannibal, "take me with you to Spain. Do not leave me in Africa leave me behind in Africa with the boys." "But you are a boy," responded his father, who at this very moment was preparing to consult the omens at the altar. Now, very, very careful. Take a look at omina. Omina is not omnia. Omina is the plural of omen ominis, which is one letter different from nomen nominis. Which is, I think, kind of interesting because a name and an omen are very similar. Let's see. Carthaginian men, not boys, are the enemies to the Romans. Notice that that's a dative. Okay, that's actually what we call a dative of possession. It's the Romans' enemies. "I am not a boy," said Hannibal. "But if you are, there's no but there. If you are an enemy to the Romans, I also am an enemy to the Romans. If you think thus," says Hamilcar, "it will be necessary for you to swear it by swearing an oath, or to confirm it by swearing an oath." Let's see. He placed he being Hamilcar, placed the hand of his son, Hannibal, on the head of the sacrificial victim. So swear it by this thing. Hannibal said, "I always will be an enemy to the Romans. I always will fight against the Romans. I will not rest until I will have captured the Roman city," or the city Rome. Now, take a look at this. I will not rest, that's future, unless I will have captured the city Rome. Will have captured has to happen first so that he can rest. And so Hamilcar took his son Hannibal with him to Spain. After many years, when Hannibal was the general over the Carthaginians, he led a huge army against the Romans, and he accomplished many and wonderful things, including taking elephants over the Alps. Let's see. For a long time, he fought against the Romans, and he conquered them in many battles. Never did the Romans have a fiercer enemy. So that's the story of Hannibal as a little boy. His story is way interesting. I mean, he lost an eye going over the Alps and kept going. Keep in mind, this is before antibiotics or anything like that. I mean, he actually said, "I will either find a way or I will make a way to get through the Alps." So when they got to places that were just completely blocked, he cracked the rocks open and kept on going. He was kind of like the Roman version of the Terminator. Anyway, really interesting guy. Notice the use of tenses there. I will catch you again when we take a look at chapter 25. I'm going to hit the button.